how close is that relationship? You know, they're like, I want the starting spot, I want this, I want that. But I'm like, bro, first of all, you might want it, but you got to earn it. And second of all, we can't be real. There are politics in
100%.
everything you do. I don't care if you're in the
100%.
workforce, sports, school, just any type of hierarchy of people on a thing where you want to get somewhere, there is politics. And you can't just run away from something like that. You got to play the game.
Yeah.
You got to play the game.
100%. I feel yeah.
And I think like, sorry, Coach, my bad.
No, you're good. I didn't have a good thought there.
And like, I kind of noticed, especially just looking at different things on social media, why do you think everyone's so anxious nowadays? Where is this anxiety coming from in the world?
I have no idea. I feel like it's a culmination of a lot of things. Like you got all this like instant media. I mean, that's the easy answer. You have instant media like at your fingertips. You could just, if you need an answer, you Google it. If you want to like, if you're bored, you look at big screen, medium screen, little screen. Like in my room, I have a TV, laptop. Like I have my phone. Like if I need something to do, I could do that. Like there's no like time to really just sit there with your own self almost, I want to say. Like, I feel like doing things like lifting, running, it's like a really good chance for you to like really reflect. Like I don't know about you, like for me, like running was a great chance for me just like to self-reflect and like almost like self-correct too. Like,
ooh, that was actually really good. I like that. What do you say? Self-correct?
Self-reflect and also self-correct. Because like, you know what I mean? Like
somebody gotta tweet that, bro.
You're thinking about like interviewing. You asked me about job interviews. Like I was thinking like I would be running. I'm thinking about how I answered a question. I'd be like, I really didn't like how I answered this question. Mm-hmm. And I'm like just running, going through it. And I'm thinking about how should I have answered this question? And that kind of got me to this point where I am now, where I'm like, anytime I'm in, like, I had a couple interviews last week, and I was so ready for these questions they were asking me, because, like, I've heard them, all of them before, and, like, even if they're, like, a slight different variation, like, I'm just, like, so ready to answer. I was like, before they even finished the question, I was like, yep, I got it. And, like, no flinch, and, like, that's just, like, what they're looking for and things like that. And, like, it also felt good to know myself at that level, where I could just comfortably talk about, like, my experiences and things like that. Like, that self-correctness, you know what I mean?
Okay, that was really good. We're clipping that. That'll be on TikTok. But I don't know, bro. When I look at people and I see, like, I didn't think this many people were that anxious. And the numbers keep going up. The depression keeps going up. And I know everyone says it's the technology, it's everything in our hands, instant gratification. But I'm getting to start to think, like, that answer's a little bit too easy.
It is.
I don't think that's the full story.
It's easy. It's way too convenient to say that.
Because I make friends online.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
there's great people online, you know? Mm-hmm. One of my friends, his name's Landry. We're both like in the bodybuilding, met on TikTok, and now we're actually friends. He lives in like San Diego or something. Okay. And we just keep up and stuff like that. Awesome. And I value that relationship. Because I learn from him. He learns from me. But then on the dark side, it's just like I see other people on social media and they get a few hate comments, especially girls. They'll stop posting.
See, they'll
start crying. Like, and I would never leave a hate comment, but and me and Jay were just talking about that too.
Because that has to go deeper back, right? If you can't take you can't take self-criticism, or not self-criticism, you can't take criticism. Like that goes beyond social media, like all the like technology and stuff. Like that goes back to how you were like raised, almost like not being like thinking everything, like not to sound like a 50-year-old person, like saying like everyone deserves like first place, like. Yeah. It kind of goes back to stuff like that like you have to be able to take criticism and like learn from it.
That's true too. And taking criticism is very important because I used to suck at it and I'll get so offended. I get heated.
Everyone does, right?
My ego would just be like, oh, how could they think this of me? How is that not good? But I think what helped me the most is my mom. She's very, very critical. So if you suck, she's like, that freaking sucked, son. What was that trash?
You need that. That's how my dad was. He's very to the point. Very honest. And like, that's fine. Like I think everyone needs a little honesty sometimes. And like, it really just makes you think, okay, I gotta like take a step back and like reflect on myself. Like, how can we fix this? Obviously, like someone making a mean joke, whatever, get your laughs. But that's a different story.
But at the same time, I think I'm a little bit too honest. And I could hurt someone's feelings or step on toes, but I really don't mean that. Yeah. But it's just like when I want to say something, and people probably see this in the podcast, it's coming out. I can really even hold in. It's just like I just blabber out some words, And I mean it, sorry, but it's how it came across. But I think as a man, I was listening to someone, you can't be fragile. You have to have some thick skin, because everyone that comes at you doesn't hate you, and everything that's said against you doesn't have to hurt you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important to understand. And I can't speak for women because that's a whole different thing, and they're going through things I could never understand too. So please, viewers, keep that in mind. But I really hope the depression and anxiety goes down, because like our generation, like, we're gonna be the leaders of the country one day.
Yeah, that's definitely another challenge we're gonna have to face. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, we're gonna be the senators that are old and crazy boomers that we have right now. Yeah. It's gonna be us, and I'm very curious. Are we gonna sit there? Our next president in the next 50 years, they're gonna say, "I need a mental health day. I can't take it." You can't do that as the president.
Yeah, that's become you might be able to. Like, you're starting to see it more. You're starting to see it more coming. Like, I mean, like athletics, you have a lot of athletes coming out. Depression, anxiety. Mm-hmm. Whether the Eagles player Lane Johnson recently, he took a few weeks off because he was dealing with some depression.
Yeah, and
I think a lot more people are like supportive of it now though than it used to be. So
I think that's good too.
I think that's important. Yeah, I think looking at it that way, that's important. Like, more people are aware of what other people are going through, because I feel like everyone goes through, like, fights their own demons in a way. Right?
That's when we were talking about it. That was a deep conversation we had a few weeks ago. But I'm going to be the bad guy here. Sorry to do it. But there's so many people that like have anxiety, have depression, and they go right to the medication.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
And I do think anyone that is clinically depressed, that is something that is wrong with your brain, and you have to balance that stuff out with medication. But to me, I think the majority of people just need to read a book.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many self-help books. There's so many things on diet.
That
Maybe
helps.
you're just dehydrated. That'll make you're not going to feel good if you don't drink enough water. You don't get enough sleep. And people just stay up for days on end. What do you think? You're obviously going to have anxiety. Your body can't take that.
Yeah, that goes back to just taking care, like things like we're doing, just meant like taking care of our bodies and things like that.
Yeah.
That goes a long way. And I lost my train of thought before
it happens, man.
I said that.
It's okay.
You could pick it back up.
That's fine.
It'll come back to me in a second.
Gotcha. One time when Jay was on here, he literally said something. I was like, "So where you going with that?" He goes, "Yeah, bro, I don't know where I'm going with that." We just had to go to the next subject. But I guess we'll go on to the next subject. This dude Kyrie Irving, bro.
Oh wait, no, I remember now.
He got it. Okay.
I remember now. Me and Jay were talking about this. It's like there was another. I think it was a Joe Rogan podcast. They were talking about psychedelics for treating like people with like mental disorders and things like that, like microdosing psychedelics, because like it really brings your emotions like to the upper level, and like a lot of people that suppress their emotions really tend to struggle with like anxiety, depression. Like when you suppress those emotions, you don't get the chance to like let them out in a healthy way. And like they were saying in this other podcast, how like these like, I think it was like DMT or something like that. They were saying how like that like drug itself like brings these like specific memories to the surface and allows you to like release that energy in a way.
Yeah.
And like obviously you have to be in a healthy setting with people like that you could like talk about these feelings with, but like it seemed like a really powerful like like it's like the studies they're doing now. So like I think there's like hope for that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously I don't think anybody should be doing DMT and stuff like that, but like just knowing like that you shouldn't like suppress these emotions, I think could be really important for a lot of people like in the long run.
Yeah. Just to kind of like piggyback off that. So this whole thing with psychedelics, like CBD, like mushrooms, I think there's some legitimate medical help they could do. But there is a big caveat here. I think it was, I don't want to mess this up, but I think it was Carl Jung. He's like a philosopher.
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
And he said something that really stuck with me. And because I do believe you can get some serious revelations from things like ayahuasca, whatever you want to, DMT, whatever you want to take, and it can take you somewhere.
Yeah.
But he said, be careful of knowledge that was unearned. And think about that. If you're not doing the internal work with yourself, you're not doing the meditation, you're not really digging deep, you're not dealing with those things you have to deal with, and once a month you're having ayahuasca trips, you're going to run into some knowledge that you can't even comprehend that could take you to the wonky town. Like,
you're right.
That's just what it is, because you didn't earn it.
Yeah,
you didn't earn
100%.
it. And the shamans that actually do this, in Brazil, wherever this goes on, they did the work. They know whether this is a completely spiritual thing. There's a process.
But I think they were mentioning doing therapy with it.
Okay.
I think I did miss that mark on that. I did listen to this a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I think therapy was involved, which, again, like, therapy has had a bad rap too sometimes. So I guess you have to be even, like, you got to be careful. Like, either way, you got to put in the work, like, whatever you're doing. Like, you can't just say, all right, I'm doing therapy, like, smack you on the wrist, give you your drugs, and like call it a day. Like, that's how a lot of it works today, though. Like, you do your therapy, you get prescribed Adderall. Like, friends prescribed Adderall, they just dump Adderall to people who have ADHD. Like, that's just, it goes back to other.
Is it Adderall like meth? I'm pretty sure it's meth.
It's like meth, yeah.
It's very similar.
And like my friends,
cocaine and crack.
My friend, one of my good friends, his little brother, he's like 100 pounds. He has like a 50 milligram prescription of Adderall. I'm like, dude, that kid's probably like, his whole body probably is just buzzing. Like,
he's like even imagine.
Like a bumblebee walking down the high school hallway. Like, he's in high school and he's had this since, I don't even know how long he's had this prescription, but like, I think it's been all of high school, which is just insane. Like, you're telling me there's nothing else we could be doing for like kids in high school other than prescribing them 50 milligrams of Adderall? I don't know. That's insane.
That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And I think with anything, I love therapy. I've been to therapy. I have no problem admitting that. Yeah. I think it's really, really good. And I love doctors. But you have to understand, it could take some work to find the right doctors and the right therapists. You, on your first shot, especially if you don't live in like a prosperous city, every therapist is not going to be the LeBron James or Michael Jordan of therapy. 100%. If you go to one of those people, they will fix you. like some people are just that good. But other people, they're just generic.
Yeah.
Passing out drugs and stuff, and that doesn't really help the issue. So anyone that wants to reach out to someone or is going to therapy that's not working, it literally could just be the therapist, and you have to find the one that works for you. So please don't give up on it. It does work if you find someone good.
And there's like new apps coming out too. You could do it online. Yeah, you could do it on your phone. You could you get prescribed, you get set up with a licensed professional.
Okay.
I forget the app. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like they're starting to really advertise. Like, I've seen a couple commercials for it. It's like a newer thing, but I think it's going to be big in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like hype behind it.
Yeah.
So I mean, little steps like that I think are important.
And with everything, what do you think about everything that's going online? Did you hear Facebook? They want to be a metaverse.
Yeah, I saw a funny
Come
on that. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I was talking to some girl about this. She was saying how she didn't understand how people could do the whole COVID dating, like through Zoom. The Zoom dates that eat dinner together.
Yeah.
It's not the real thing. So with things moving more to the online space, what effect do you think that's going to have on the world when we're just in the metaverse, apparently?
So like
we should probably explain what the metaverse is.
Yeah, so it's like a fake realm, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of like have your like avatar or something like that?
You have an avatar.
That's what I gathered, yeah.
You put the goggles on.
Okay, VR. That's why I see all these VR commercials lately.
So many. And you go to Starbucks and you don't give them real money. You give them like your V-Bucks. Think of this as like Fortnite. People that play
so it's like another world almost.
But like it's in the real world. So there's like AR, which is like here, but there, and there's like the metaverse where it's just in the other sphere. And you can do stuff, go on dates there, go to school in the metaverse, go to work in the metaverse. And
that's too much.
They say that it won't work. But I'm telling you right now, I'm working for a company for 6 months now. I haven't been to the office. So it can work. I haven't worked in the office for the past 6 months.
It'll work. If you have enough money, it'll work.
Yeah, that's true.
Zuckerberg has enough money.
And it's just so weird how we're just getting less and less involved with the real world.
Yeah, that sense of community is really important. There's like, I don't even know how many books on community.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what we're found of, like and that goes back to mental health as well. Just being involved in community, I think, is really important. Small town Douglasville. We were lucky.
That is true. D-Ville on the map. And I think that's a part of the problem in the comparison to our parents' generation with our generation. And I think kind of why depression anxiety has gone up a little bit because we lost a sense of community. Like at my apartment, like I don't know my neighbors. I don't talk to them. Back in the 80s, I feel like that wasn't a thing. Yeah. You give them a carrot cake.
Yeah.
When the last time you got a carrot cake?
You need a couple eggs.
Yeah.
Go to your neighbors.
It's not even a thing.
Some flour.
What do you do now? You Uber Eats it over or whatever you want to do.
Go Puff. I won't lie. Like every year, I did make it a point the first day I moved in to like introduce myself to my neighbors. See if they're cool.
That's
like,
that's a good idea.
I think my freshman, sophomore, not so much. My junior and senior year, we had really cool neighbors, and we got like really close with them, which was awesome. Like that really mattered last year in the pandemic when we're all at this apartment, and you can't go out, so you have neighbors you could like hang out with, like just make things feel kind of normal again, like you're all in the same area, and like that got us through the year. Like me and my roommates, like hanging out with them, like they were really cool. So there is hope.
There is hope, and I'm not gonna fraud. Like just being on FaceTime with my friends during the pandemic. I guess it's not over, but that did kind of get me through.
Yeah.
And just being alone or just being the divorce rates, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. The truth will come out some way or another.
That doesn't worry me as much, the divorce thing. Like whatever. It's tough in this day and age. You have so many options. I feel like it's tough.
I think we have too many options. Like
it's just how it is.
Tinder, Bumble.
I'm just grown to accept it. It is what it is. If you find one, you're lucky, and you'll go from there. Like Mr. Carter.
That's true.
Sir.
That's true. Sir. Cuffed up over there.
Hey, but it ain't easy though. Nothing's easy.
And even just like being in a relationship, I think that people want it, but they're not even ready to work for it. Because if you want to be in love, like you can fall in love, but you got to stay in love, which I think is
that's hard too.
It's really hard.
I started watching You this week.
You watched You?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Ugh, I can't watch it.
It's okay. I don't know. It's like one of those. Once like 3 people tell me to watch a show, I watch it.
Yeah. I started it with some girl, and then that didn't end well. So I linked the show with her, and I'm just like, nah, bro.
There you go.
I'm not getting back into that.
Exactly.
I'm not getting back into that.
That's a fair enough reason. Yeah.
I'm being petty though. I can admit that.
No, it's like when you like. It's like a band you like.
Ooh.
You and your girl like a band, and like this is our song, and then that doesn't go well. Well, I fucking hate this song.
That's true.
Like I don't like this song anymore. It's just what it is.
And I can always bring everything back to working out. That's how my brain works. Some people like link working out to pain.
Oh, that seems unhealthy.
Yeah, like I don't link it like that. Like I when I think of working out, my brain goes fun. My brain goes pump. My brain goes Arnold. I can get big like that. That's just how. So you got to be careful of the, what do you even want to call it? The connections you make to certain things.
That is true.
In your relationship with food. Some people think like, oh, I only like food that makes me feel a certain way, or sugar, a bunch of salt. Be careful how your brain thinks, and you will do this stuff through a pattern without even really noticing
it's all chemistry.
what is going on. So I think that's really important too.
I agree. Yeah. So you gotta treat it. I forget who said it. One of these rich guys say you gotta treat food like a medicine. That's like one of the keys. Like if you treat food like medicine, you're gonna put in the good things. You know, get it. What is it? Get in what you put out. I don't know, that might be the wrong.
We know where you're going with that though.
Yeah. I don't think that was right. Yeah.
But literally, the food that you eat becomes you.
Yeah.
Like. It's a part of you. And we can think of all the circle of life and things like that, how everything goes.
Like grass-fed beef.
Yeah, it's really weird how it's like a cycle. But I think that if people can look at food a little bit differently, they'll make way different decisions. And it's just because you can't see how the food you're eating now is going to affect you 10 years from now, like in the present, right? But there's so many people I think that are, in their 80s, 90 years old, and they wish they had better habits.
I'm interested to see how like people from our generation, how long we live.
They're saying we're gonna live until we're like 120.
Because
all of us.
Like some of the things they were doing back in the day were like insane. Like the chemicals they were putting in their bodies, like they didn't even realize. I mean, I'm sure we are too. Like there's gonna be like, it's gonna be like, oh, you guys did that, like. But like I don't know, like people eat pretty. Like there's a lot of nutritionists out there and things. Like I feel like people are gonna live long.
I think so too, and like, if you ever want to go down a crazy rabbit hole into, because it's really weird. We can't get water to Flint, Michigan, but we have companies like CRISPR that are genetically modifying animals. They're making chimeras, people. I don't want to get this wrong, and I'm gonna have to put this in the comments if I get it wrong. But I believe they made a lamb be able to spin out webs like a spider.
Oh, jeez.
Like they're doing stuff like that, and you guys can look it up. Look up CRISPR. and get into it. This is true. This is not. This is now. This was like, I think it was 3 years ago actually.
Yeah, that sounds about
They can like genetically modify and like take out samples and sections of DNA and implant another different section from something else.
I saw that.
Crazy.
I think it was a Wall Street Journal where something posted something about harvesting a liver or kidney from a pig, and it actually was transplanted to a human.
That's true. I saw that as well.
And that's crazy. Like, I don't know if that sits well with it. I mean, obviously, like, if I'm in a situation where I need it, I might say differently.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought of taking organs from other animals just doesn't seem right.
So it was the first time it was ever done, and the person that it was done to, I think they were in like a coma forever, and they weren't going to get out. And the family agreed that they could do the experiment on that family member because they're already brain dead. They're never coming back.
Yeah.
So then they put the pig organ into the human, and it worked.
Interesting.
So why do we have a supply chain issue if we can put things like, you know what I mean? Things just aren't adding up to me. Science is pretty advanced right now, but they're ridiculous
politics
problems.
Is not advanced.
Yeah, politics is not advanced.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta think maybe the scientists should run things, but
I wouldn't like that.
And then you'd have other issues. So
there's always gonna be an issue. That's why I tell people, like, seriously, just worry about you, take care of your family, be kind to everyone that you can. Yeah. Because there's so much that we can't control.
Have your own values, have your own belief system.
Yeah.
Take care of your chicken, as Marshawn Lynch would say.
Take care of your chicken.
Yeah. What was the saying? Do you remember it? It was like, take care of your people, or take care of your mental and take care of your chicken. I think that's what it was. I don't even know what it means.
For sure.
I really don't know what that means.
I think it's a money thing.
Money.
Yeah.
Some people like
talking about rookies
money
blowing
is
their money.
chicken.
Getting to the chicken.
Yeah.
Like getting like
I think it was going towards the rookies that would blow their money on like a chain and like stuff like that. Like take care of
you gotta take care of your finances, man.
Yeah,
Gotta take care of your finances. Everyone should have a Roth IRA. I will not be giving out financial advice in this podcast, but I will tell you right now, get a Roth IRA, and I will leave it at that. And I think that is going to be the podcast right there.
Yeah.
So let's.
I think we hit our points.
That was it. I'm already sweating. Hope you guys like episode 3. Have any questions? Want us to go dive deeper into something? Leave that in the comments. And episode 4 is coming very soon.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Of course, man. It was great having you on, dude. I love doing these things.
It was fun.
Let's get it.